Aloha and como mai to my YouTube channel. I'm Shelby Collinge of ShelbyCollinge.com, coming to you from the beautiful island of Oahu, Hawaii. Hopefully you're fabulous. I do have to say, we're in my office and I have two huge windows in here, okay? And this one over here is facing south. And long story short, this is not where I technically sit in my office, but for lighting's sake, this is where I'm sitting today. So we're just rolling with it. You just gotta love it. It's a very beautiful day. Hopefully things are beautiful in your world. You look amazing. And I hope you feel amazing. I really wanted to talk today about something that not a lot of people really get just how important it is, and that's your sleep. Now, I am somebody, you know people that I could be a professional sleeper. I sleep very fast, like my head hits the pillow. It doesn't even have to be a pillow if I'm honest. I'm one of those people that when I'm on a plane, if I want to sleep, if I'm feeling like that's going to help rejuvenate me, then I can be asleep before takeoff, right? Before we even take off, I can be sound asleep. Napping in, the afternoon, boom, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, I'm a great napper. But the thing about sleep is that is where all of your healing takes place, right? This is where everything gets rejuvenated and brought back to a healthy place. So if you're somebody where, and I can raise my hand to this because I can start being this person very, 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 very quickly, where I'm going to bed at like 11:30, maybe even midnight, and then I'm up at 6 o'clock and really have no problem, right? It's not like I'm non-functional. I can totally function, but really your body needs 8 hours. And really the key thing here with this message is that you need to be in bed, technically asleep, by 10 p.m. Now, let me tell you something. This is something I myself have resisted my whole entire life thus far, okay? And I was told this at least a year or so ago. There may even be a video about it. I got cupped, right? It was a cupping video. It was my Chinese guy that I go to for cupping in ALOHA. And he told me the minute I laid, I was down on his on the bed thing there, getting ready to be cupped. He's like, you need to be in bed by 10. He's like, you're not getting to bed early enough. And I was like, okay. And it's like, wah, 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 right? Kind of like that Charlie Brown teacher. I didn't really want to hear that. Now, I know people as they get older go to bed earlier, but I'm here to tell you, if you've got anything that you're wanting in life, and you really do, okay, any goal, any dream, any desire, any ailment, anything that's not feeling fabulous, your hair's not thick enough, you don't have enough friends, your money is tight, I'm telling you, sleep is part of the equation to getting it, to achieving it, to being it, to experiencing it. If you're a doubter, you've got to try it. But remember, the most important thing is that you're to bed by 10. So if you're somebody like me who falls asleep right away, right? Like head hits the pillow 9:58, asleep by 10, then go to bed at 9:58. If you're somebody who's like, I have to read for 30 minutes, then I have to wind down, then you need to go to bed at 9 so that you can be asleep by 10. Between 10 and 2 is when your liver cleans your blood. And that's a really big deal. And it doesn't matter if we're doing something like, we had the party to go to or the function to go to. And don't get me wrong, life does happen. And so you may not be able to do it 7 days a week, but try, attempt 6 days a week. There'll be some holiday functions coming up, no doubt, right? Here over the next couple of weeks and months. So, on the days that you can, really do it, right? And don't be like, yeah, I'm going to try. Like, if I'm 1,000% honest, last night I went to bed at like 10:35. I had to get some last minute things done. And so I was late. Technically, I'm late, right? Now, I was pretty much in bed asleep by 10:37. But that's almost 40 minutes into the process where my body didn't get to do what it really needed to do. So the whole point of listening, reading, even asking somebody, whether it be a trained medical professional or not, what is something I can do to achieve better results in my life? You're not doing yourself any favors if you just keep asking, right? The key is in the then, utilizing it and putting it into an action type of thing, right? Actions speak louder than words. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. No, you got to do it. Okay. You don't need to read another book. You need to go to bed much earlier and be asleep by 10 p.m. at least, and give your body a full 8 hours. This is the message of the day, right? Really, truly. Don't just say, oh my gosh, that would be so great. Can you imagine what life would be with 8 hours? It's like, get on to getting the things done that you need to do. And then, as the night starts winding down, you've got to, make sure that however long yourself that it takes you to actually fall asleep, then back that up before 10 and get into bed that much earlier. Now, if you do this for a couple of weeks, you're going to find magical things happening in your life because your body gets the amount of time it needs to do, and then it does it. Okay, so that's pretty magical. If again, there's things you want, but you're really only sleeping like 5 or 6 hours a night, then just imagine what your brain subconscious, right, which works all night long, by the way, that's another video, but your subconscious mind actually gets its full 8 hours to manifest and to bring things to fruition, and your body really had a full 8 hours to recharge, and your muscles really had a full 8 hours to relax and not be doing anything. Can you imagine how great you're going to feel after a couple of weeks of really getting some good sleep? Now, it does bear to say that if you're like one of these people, it's like, I can't sleep, I've got too much on my mind, then you need to take a listen to that too, right? Because if something's interrupting your sleep, then that's a big red hand kind of coming up from your internal self saying, hey, we've got things we need to deal with, right? Confront, address, rectify, atone for, whatever the feeling is, right? If that's your case, be sure to check out my sat sayings, my weekly sat sayings, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh my gosh, you'll love them. And they're video, kind of like this, but fabulous. And, it's kind of helps you get in that weekly remembrance of the truth of who you are and how you really can, 100% you are the one that is only thing we have to adjust to get a different result in any area of your life, right? It's definitely mental, not in a bad sort of way, unless you keep doing it to yourself, right? But it's not an outside, right? The outside world is a reflection of the inside world. So we change you, outside world change. We change outside world, nothing changes. So shorter way, I should say, not necessarily easier, but the shorter way is to adjust what's going on up here, and then everything out here changes, right? So you really need a full 8 hours of sleep. But again, most imperative is to be asleep, not just getting into your wind down process, but asleep by 10 p.m. to really allow your organs to do what they're going to do. And if you, again, are like somebody like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine, you know, I've always lived really fine on 8 hours, or excuse me, on 6 hours or 5 hours. And I can say that I have too. But when I get to bed earlier, I like spring out of bed in the morning, almost kind of like the day has to catch up with me rather than me going, oh, I've got to catch up with the day. Like going to bed early, you naturally arise before your alarm because you're well rested and your body's like, okay, let's go. If you're somebody who's constantly hitting the alarm, that's a huge indicator that, you know, you're not well rested. So start to look at what you're doing habitually that keeps you up late at night, right? Whether it's just TV time or reading a book or the social media plague that I call it. You know, you're on one of those social media sites, just messaging your time away or watching videos or whatever the case may be. You know, really take control and be like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot for a couple of weeks and just see what can happen. Because again, if for no other reason than your mind and just how great your body's going to feel when it really gets that time to rejuvenate and to heal itself. Remember, that is when everything happens, right? You go to sleep, that's when the tooth fairy comes, right? You go to sleep, you wake up, that's when you see some things healed and looks different. It's like everything happens in that sleep time when you're not looking at it, right? It needs you to not be looking at it so that it can do what it needs to do. So give it the full 8 hours. Just experiment. And then, you know, I would love to hear in the comments below what you currently do, right? And then maybe when you have done the 2 week, you know, the 2 week experiment, right? Make it an experiment and your mind will go along. If it's like, oh, I have to do this, it's like, oh, but it's like, oh, I'm going to experiment. The mind's like, oh, okay, let's try it. Even though we've never thought well about this, we can experiment, right? Most people don't have a lot of beliefs about experimenting. So make it an experiment, but leave in the comments below, you know, how often, you know, what your usual sleep patterns are and how many hours you usually get. And then, like I said, at the end of 2 weeks, you can come back and be like, oh my gosh, now I'm getting 2 more hours a night and I feel way better and my life has improved, and obviously energy level. And, you know, if you think about it, it's just another 2 or 3 hours where your body gets to do what it's meant to do. So give it a shot. So if you're watching this video, if this video even came into your conscious awareness, right, it was like one of those suggested videos and you're like, bing, click, it's because you're not sleeping enough. And you needed to hear this message that it's time to wake and shake it. Right? It's time to get all you need to do done during the day and then be in bed, right? 9:30-ish. If you're somebody like me, like 9:50-ish, 9:55-ish, but at the latest, so that you can be asleep and give your body the full 8 hours. So leave your comment below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to thumbs up this video because it helps a girl out, okay? It really does. And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I get contacted from people all over the world who want solutions to things and or have gone and gotten a prescription solution, right? One that they're hesitant of taking, or, you know, they're not sure they really want to do the blah, blah. And, you know, they're not willing to do the very basics, the natural basics, like getting 8 hours of sleep, right? If there's something that's ailing you in any area of your life and you're not sleeping 8 full hours a day by 10 p.m., that would be like the very first thing I would try, right? Before I would do anything would be to give my body its full 8 hours and just see if that, when and how much that helps, right? So start with some of these basics. Quit always looking. See, everybody wants the quick fix. Give me a pill rather than make me have to sleep longer. And it's like, you can't make those deals anymore, right? They don't work. You know too much. So it's all about kind of 100% responsibility and finding a way that you can be in bed asleep by 10 p.m. And like I said, if you've got sleep issues, leave a comment. We can be here to support you. I'll send love and light. And, you know, now's the time to kind of get a hold of it so you can end this year on a very strong note and really start off 2019 in a very, 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 very great place. Oh, another airplane of peoples is coming to the island of Oahu. Woo! Hopefully your week's off to a great start. Like I said earlier, you look amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Ahui ho!